Hey guys, the name is Mai. I'm sure, well, some of you who are going to be watching this already know who I am. But, let's see, I suppose I should introduce myself. I already told you my name. I am probably most well known on Tumblr right now as Cygnusmun, and I apparently play the only Cygnus on Tumblr at the moment. I also have 3 other blogs. I play an Alia blog, and I have 2 original character blogs, one of which, General Yen, and the Dugal Company. So, let's get this Monday video started, shall we? I have 3 ask/questions that people have submitted to me, so let's dive into that. Hana Sakura, I know who you are. You asked me who/what were your inspirations for conceptualizing all the individuals in the order. I'm assuming you're talking about the order that Yen is a member of. Gosh, that's actually a long story. The order actually came about sometime significantly after I already had conceptualized Yen as a character. And, he's a whole nother story, but I basically had the idea that since my universe takes place in a futuristic setting, that was kind of a natural thought to think that the ideal of martial arts and just like weapon fighting in general was probably close to dying out or had been strongly modified because, with technology and stuff, like, why would you need to learn how to hit people with your fist when you can grab this energy weapon and hit them with it instead? So I felt Yen as a character would feel strongly about wanting to preserve some of the traditions of martial arts, especially considering his background. So I felt I needed to come up with characters that could help support him in that endeavor. That in fact helped me create all the other characters for the order. So the first one I came up with after Yen was Heinrich. And actually I got the idea of the friendship between the two of them from a manga/anime series. I don't know if maybe some of you might know it. It's called Ultimate Muscle. Kind of over the top manga that in the series, or actually in the prequel series of that manga, there were 2 characters that were friends with each other, and there were a German and a Chinese man. And I felt I really liked the pairing because, Chinese is like one of the most easily recognizable Asian ethnicities that people can identify with, and then German, for the Western style. So that's why I decided to make Heinrich a German and make him best friends with Yen. And the 2 characters actually really ended up bouncing off each other really well. After that, since I had formed these 2 guys, and they're just complete utter goofballs, despite the fact that they could probably kick your butt across multiple universes, honestly speaking. I needed a character that was probably more serious, someone who would keep these 2 goofballs in line. So I ended up with June. And June I decided to make Vietnamese only because, she's, shameless self-insert here, but not really, because she's completely not like me. She's incredibly sour, she's a grouch, whatnot, and I created her because, again, I needed her to kind of help balance out keeping these 2 guys in line. The 4th founder, so to speak, of the order, I haven't had much of a chance to actually develop her because I don't really use her all that much. I can only tell you that she is a white draconian, and don't make me try to pronounce her name because I've actually never figured out how to actually pronounce it out loud. But each of the 4 of them were supposed to represent a sort of facet of the overarching idea I wanted for the order. So for Heinrich, he focuses on the idea that he learned fighting because he enjoys it. Not that he likes hurting people, but he likes the idea of it being an exercise, and that it kind of helps give him a goal or something. Like he just enjoys fighting. It's just like a game to him. For Yen, martial arts to him is a philosophy. That it's something that help you center your spirit, your mind, set your give yourself a goal and work toward it, and provide a guideline for life, basically. For June, she learned martial arts because it's her duty. She is the quintessential military officer. That she learned this because she feels it is the tool that she needs to defend her people. And finally, for my last Grandmaster, she's odd because she's not a Terran like the other three. And for her, I chose the reason why she chose to learn the martial arts, at least from other species not outside her own, is because she did it for just the fact that it's knowledge. She's sort of the sage of the four. She actively wants to just study martial arts. I mean, she might not actually use it, but she wants to learn it. So, and so that's for the founders. The other four, well, I should say three, technically speaking, but there's four in actual practice. I've only developed two of them. The other two have been I haven't really had developed on them yet. The only two I have worked on are Heinrich and Yen's apprentices, or former apprentices. There's Akio, who is Yen's. He's known as the Master of Illusion, because he has a skill with telepathy that's probably one of the most powerful, even among Terrans. And then there's Alan, who's Heinrich's former apprentice, who, strangely enough, is also Heinrich's opposite in terms of personality. The guy is really steel rod up the ass and takes duty seriously and all that. Those are the only two that I've actually worked on, and even then I haven't really spent a lot of time on them. I really, really should. I've been distracted with Yen and Heinrich because they're just so silly and they're so fun and they love goofing off with each other and, they're fun, dynamic characters. But, just give me some time and I'm pretty sure I'll work on those guys and gals eventually. Alright, I just totally rambled off there. Alright, next question is from Candy for the Cannibal. I also know who you are, Badra. You asked me about, I guess you guessed Elf, my friend, in real life friend, who some of you know as Blue Bomber, version 2. Padra asked me, do you write fanfiction? If so, what category genre? Do you read fanfiction? If so, what category genre do you read from most / prefer? Do you have any favorite fanfics and books? What types do you read? / what are your favorites? Same with music. Wow, that's a lot of questions. Suppose I'll start with the fanfiction. Yes, actually, I did write fanfiction first. My first fanfiction, actually, I wrote back in 6th grade. I've been writing fanfiction for a while, and strangely enough, my first fanfiction was based on the game Diablo 2. I'll tell you right now, it was a piece of crap. I had no idea about proper formatting when it came to writing. I wrote block paragraphs. Yes, I know, cardinal sin. Fortunately, I learned very quickly how to correct that. After that, I'm a really sporadic writer. I just tend to write whatever sparks my interest. That's why I've never managed to hold on to actually finishing chapter fics, because I start writing, I'm all interested in it, and then I get halfway and I'm like, oh crap, I ran out of juice. I don't know where to go anymore. I get complete utter writer's block. Let's see. Categories and genres, I typically focus on the fantasy or sci-fi genre because, they're just more interesting to work with. They provide sort of the imagination's room that a lot of writers like to have when you create your own worlds and create your own characters and, just be a little over the top with them. Yeah, that was the one weakness that when I went to an advanced creative writing class at my university, that, I was one of the only fantasy writers in there. Everybody else was a writer of contemporary or modern day fiction, so they didn't really know how to give me proper feedback for my work because they were just like, I don't know how to make sense of this. That's the same reason. That's the also same genre I like to read, because I like certain contemporary pieces, but often sometimes, for me, I like to read a book because I just want to sit down and relax. I don't want to have to sit down and read a book and have to be forced to think about the deep themes. I'd be like, okay, I can do that for school, but when I'm just relaxing, I kind of don't really want to have some kind of super deep reading when I have to sit there and actually puzzle out what this author's trying to tell me. Yeah, so in terms of favorite fanfics, I don't really have a particular favorite. My interests shift as much as the next person, so I just kind of read whatever I think is good. Yeah, I think that's it. Answered about books. Music. I pretty much like most forms of music, except I don't like a lot of the new so-called pop. A lot of people like now things like Taylor Swift or Justin Bieber. I'm sorry if any of you out there are fans of Justin Bieber or Taylor Swift. You're totally entitled to that. I dislike their music. I find it highly irritating, and I always have to switch the radio whenever I hear them come on. Yeah, I don't have a particular favorite genre of music. I just basically listen to whatever sounds good. Yeah, you should see my iTunes playlist. It's all over the place. Let's see. Okay, I think that wraps up all the questions that Padre had for me, and I guess I'll move on to my final ask, and that comes from Demon on a Chaser. Hi, Mids. So, I'll answer your stuff. Because you kind of combine two asks into one. You asked me, how did I get on board with the Cygnus Alia ship? That is actually completely random. I guess I could kind of come part into why did I choose to play Cygnus on Tumblr in the first place. Actually, the first time I was ever introduced into like the Mega Man verse in general was actually with Mega Man NT Warrior, and that was from watching the dub. I know, what a great way to get introduced into an anime, right? In Mega Man NT Warrior, I was kind of interested in it, and I knew it was, originally from a Japanese version, so I went out looking for subs of this anime, and I found them, and I was totally into it. And then I kind of lost interest in it because the subgroup that was working on it took forever to release subs, so I kind of gave up on them and kind of forgot about the fandom. Then I was introduced back into it, actually, through Leah and Elf. Yes, I blame you too. They had their own kind of fan Mega Man NT Warrior verse that we call Accelerate, and they sucked me into it. And they were like, oh my, why don't you go digging around in the Mega Man wiki and look for a character, maybe it might spark your imagination for something. Because I did actually already have some Mega Man characters I had created, and I kind of, they kind of let them gather dust on the shelves, so to speak. So, and then they started talking about Mega Man X, and I was like, oh, Mega Man X, I remember that. I played Mega Man X4, and that's the only Mega Man X game I ever played, and all I remember from it really was, oh my god, the bad voice acting. Like, God, please shoot me now. This is so terrible. So I decided I wanted to go in the wiki and start looking through characters to, I guess, bring myself up to speed, and I stumbled across Cygnus. I'm like, hey, so guys, who's this guy? They're like, oh, he's the new commander for the Maverick Hunters, after X4. And I was like, oh, okay, he looks kind of interesting. So I read through his bio, and I'm like, wow, there's not really much on this guy. So actually, for fun, and thanks to those two prodding me, I actually made another fan character for Accelerate that is an alternate of Yen, and his NetNavi partner is actually Cygnus. And that's how I actually kind of got a little practice playing with the character. And then Elf got the idea that she was going to make a Mega Man X blog on Tumblr, and she's like, guys, you should join me, it'd be so fun, you guys, they play all sorts of things. And Leah's like, I'm on board, I have my own Zero moves I can play. And they both look at me, I'm like, I guess I could join, but who am I going to play? And they're like, just play Cygnus. And I'm like, but there's really not much on him, how am I going to play him? And they're like, oh, just here. Well, they gave me some basic facts, he's officious, he's the professional, and and they give me ideas that, he's the guy who's going to give absolutely no fucks. The sky could be falling, he'll look at the calendar and go, oh, it's just Wednesday again. So I'm like, okay, so I made the Cygnus blog, and that's how I ended up playing Cygnus. As to why I chose to pair him with Alia, I actually, it was me and Elf having a conversation about ships in the Mega Man verse in general, and how we love some ships, and then other ships were like, oh man, we don't think that really works for us. So actually, one of the ships that doesn't work for us is X and Alia, because both of us agree that Alia is just way too, like, momming over him for it to be a real ship. Like, it could be a ship of, like, parental background, but as, like, a romantic, just, no, we couldn't see it. And I just thought, Alia and Cygnus work together a lot, and, they're kind of the team dad and team mom of the team, so why can't they just be shipped together? Elf was just like, oh my god, that's, like, totally perfect. They should be shipped together. And they're, like, such a cute couple. And actually, we shipped the pair first in Accelerate because I have another character in there that has Alia as a Navi for her partner, and it's actually the wife of Yen. So those two actually ended up being shipped just from proxy. So we just decided to carry that ship into Mega Man X, and as you can see so far, it's worked out pretty well. The two were, they just bounce off each other really well, and balance each other out. Okay, I guess that answers that question. And I guess for my final question is, she asked me, what do I like best about my 4 Tumblr muses? Well, actually, it's 3, and then like a gazillion on the Dougal one, because technically the Dougal one's a multi-muse blog. But what do I like most about them? For Cygnus, I like it seems to be a trait that everyone seems to enjoy. There's the fact that he's just him. He's serious, but he's not like overly bearingly so. Like, you can tell, despite the fact that he's a complete hard ass, is that he really does care about the people who are under his command. And he just acts as kind of the sane mind for all the Maverick hunters. For Alia, I enjoy her because she's she's the mom figure that everyone wants to have. The person who worries over you, and sometimes even though you really, really get annoyed at the fact that they worry so much over you, that it's all, it's not like she's doing it just to annoy you. She's actually doing it because she cares about you. For Yen, I love him because, oh god, I don't even know how to sum up why I love him. I love him because he's Yen. That's all I can say. He's a goofball. He's compassionate. He's funny. He's like the uncle that you always wanted, the one who would spoil you rotten, but the minute you're in trouble, he would kick that other person's ass for you, like not even without blinking. He'll be there to save you. For my Dougals, I suppose the one I should talk about most is Albert, since he's the flagship muse for that one. I know I sound completely wrong saying I actually enjoy him as a character, but I enjoy him because of the fact that despite that he is an evil bastard who's psychotic, is that he's so well put together that you would never suspect he was psychotic. And I think he's probably the first true evil character I've ever created I can be really proud of, because he's so complex. He's not card-carrying villain, oh, look me stand up on this podium and monologue my entire plans out to you. No, he's not like that. He's the kind of guy who's like, who's that character from the Watchmen comic, who's like, oh, well, I just told you my plan. Oh, you wanted to stop it? Well, too bad, because I actually already started 15 minutes ago, so I was just standing here to stall time. And there's nothing you can do about it. Yeah, that's the kind of guy that Albert is, and that's why I enjoy him. Well, gosh, this video is pretty long now, 18 minutes. I think that wraps up everything that everyone wanted to know via the Ask. So, I know some of you are really intimidated to interact with me, but it's not your fault, it's mine. I'm a little on the shy side, and I generally have a hard time opening up to people I don't know very well. And I know Cygnus can also come off as very intimidating because he's just who he is, but trust me, he won't bite you. He's not gonna throw you out the window unless you do something to really deserve being thrown out the window. So, I guess I'll end it here, so thanks guys, and I hope you enjoyed my first Mun video.